Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tinker with the trailer again. If you recall from my New Year's Eve video when I set up with the awning was placed over the drawbar and I lost a lot of space because of the drawbar. So what I'm going to do today is unbolt the tent assembly. And while it's off, I've got some carpet I want to lay in the bottom of it to stop things sliding around, and then basically flip the tent assembly, so then the awning will open at the back, so then I can store stuff under and keep it dry and all the bits and pieces. So that's the intention today. It should be simple. It's only 6 bolts to take off, but I need to unfold the tent to undo them from the inside for obvious reasons. But apart from that, it should be all good. So let's get going. So if you remember from the setup, it's just basically removing the straps, removing the cover. I had an interior tent light in there, and I've got a funny feeling it's still in there attached to the roof, because I don't recall taking it out and I can't seem to find it. So I had a few issues closing the top of the tent because it just wouldn't flatten down enough, and I'm thinking that's why in hindsight. So with any luck we should be able to find it still in there attached to the tent. What I'm going to do is attach a ratchet so I can squish this down easier. You can still do it by one person, but it makes it a lot easier if there's two. By connecting by connecting a ratchet to it, I should be able to take it out easy. I don't really need to take the cover off completely, but I will. Only because it'll be easier when I turn the whole thing around. But remember to undo the straps. I do it every time. So I don't really need to set the tent up as such, but I will open it up from the side to see if that light is in there. And yes, it is. So that explains where that's disappeared to, and I'll get that from the other side. One of the best parts of this tent is its ease of opening everything up. So you can open up all the windows. There's only a couple of straps that hold the storm fly on, and it all comes off very easy. So I might take the storm fly off as well and then put it back on once I remove the base. So I'll take the mattress out, take the storm fly off, and unbolt it and then flip it around. So it should be fairly easy to do. So taking the storm fly off is just a matter of undoing the 2 Velcro straps, making sure it's unclipped on both sides. You can take the poles out, but for what I'm doing I don't really need to. Bring it all together and take it off. So it weighs absolutely nothing. Maybe 3 kilos, 4 kilos if that. So it all comes off very easy and it's all very light. Take my super warm sleeping bag out. and my surprisingly comfortable mattress. So in the actual trailer configuration to bolt it on, there's 6 bolts that hold it to the trailer. So I'll undo those and basically undo it and just flip it round. There must be something they have for another one, because there's also additional screws in there for maybe a smaller trailer or a rooftop frame. I'm not quite sure, because this is basically a rooftop tent that's connected to a small trailer. So I'm assuming that's for if you have rooftop rails and things. But they're a threaded mount, so I'm not really sure. So that's come out relatively easy. It's a 10mm bolt. There is a nylon threaded bolt underneath, a nut underneath, but it's in a channel. So it's quite difficult to get to. Not sure where this one is. So it's in the channel underneath. You can't really fit a spanner onto it, but I'm just holding it. You could probably do it with a screwdriver and just jamming the nut. But I've just got a 10mm spanner underneath, just holding it in place so it doesn't move. I'm thinking I am anyway. The one in the middle is going to be the awkward one, so I might take all the other ones out first and then take that one out. Because I think I'm going to have to virtually close the trailer up, or have it at least vertical, to get that one out. As I said, these are nylon headed lock nuts, so they're relatively easy to come off. And to get the middle one, I need to take my fuel tank off as well. So I might take the next one off and then come back to you. For the sake of the argument, this is the channel I'm working with, and that's the nut under there. It actually was easier to take it out, the middle one, than I expected. I've swapped to a pair of pliers so I can just grip it either side now, as opposed to trying to get a spanner up in there. And then just a ring spanner on top now. I did use a ratchet earlier, but now I'm just using a ring spanner. So, and it is actually easier to come out using a pair of pliers, because I can grip it and I don't need to fiddle with it so much. So it's actually easier than what I thought it was going to be. And that way, I figure I'll be able to hold them with the pliers, putting them back as well. So it's not a big problem, and then I can just use the trailer as a standard trailer if I wanted to tow behind the bike. It's just a little trailer, but it is possible to do so. I'm just hoping all the holes line up and they're all equal, so I won't need to make any alterations turning it round. And this bolt should release it. I'll take my 2 jerry cans out. Yep, that has released it. So I'll fold it up and just pop these 2 tabs off. so it doesn't open up while I'm moving it. And I should be able to slide that off onto the ground. So this weighs about 40 kilos, I believe. Oops. Should have taken all those nuts and bolts out before I did that. And that leaves me with about 130 litre capacity. This is actually a good time to do any work I wanted to inside, so I can see what's happening. But you can use this trailer. It didn't take too long, and especially now I know what I need to do to unlock stuff. It would be pretty easy to, if I needed to move something behind the Harley or whatever, to take the top off. There it is, just freestanding now. The holes appear to be in the same position on both sides, so it should line up pretty much. Yeah, just dropping a tape over those holes. Yeah, just dropping a tape over those holes. They're pretty much in line. Little bit of wiggle room and it'll be great. So I'll go get my mats and we'll install those. Okay, so I went to Bunnings on Sunday, or Saturday it was. I went to Bunnings on Saturday and got myself some carpet tiles. These are just rubber backed. At this stage I'm not going to glue them down because I think they will grip in there, and just in case I get moisture in there I'll be able to pull them out and dry them out. The trail is just over 1200 long inside, and it's just over, I think, 900. I think 900 on the inside. 940. So these tiles are 50 by 50 centimeters. So what I need to do is just trim them down a little bit. Not by much. So as all good engineers know, put it underneath, mark it off against your tile. Possibly use a texture that works. Oh yeah, that's working. And trim them up. If I can find my shears. Got the compulsory copy, now I just need to find the shears. These are actually side cut tin snips, but these are really good for cutting carpet. Just like a big pair of scissors. Just like I bought one. So what I might do is run a bit of tape down behind them, a bit of gaffer tape just to join the two pieces, but that's a good fit, so I'm happy with that. So I'll do the next two, or the next three actually, because I need to cut one for the very top. Just to show you, it's just a piece of gaffer tape, it's nothing special, but that'll stop any additional movement in it. And I'll do that to all the pieces. Then if I find I do need to glue it down, but I think once it's tight in there, I'm not going to need to. But what I'll do is I'll attach this to the other end and do them all the same, so that should be great. So I've had a bit of a mind change. What I'm going to do is I took that gaffer tape off and I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue in each corner so it's still easy enough to remove. The tape joined it fine, but because of the humidity it seems to be letting go. So I'm just going to try this hot glue scenario. I set a little dab in each corner just to set it. They're not going to move that much, but it's just to prevent a little bit of the movement. So a little dab about the size of a 5% piece in each corner. Yep, that's holding it better already. Still easy to pry up if I need to, or if it gets wet, and it's no big tragedy. Glue guns are as cheap as shit, so they're easy to do. Perfect. So I'll do that to the rest of them and then we'll go on. So I've staggered that down in a offset brick pattern. I don't know if you can see the lines. Just so if it does slip at all, it won't all slide into one. Gluing it down, 5 minutes to do. And I said if I need to pull them up, it'll be easy to do. So that's great. So it's tied along the back, tied along the sides. What I'm thinking of doing is, you see a lot of big camper trailers do it. They get a piece of PVC pipe and attach it to the outside or the inside and slide all their rods and longer pieces in it. I'm thinking of doing that for the tent poles and stuff. Won't be on the outside because of my fuel tank's halfway down. Well, halfway down, and because they go the full distance. So I might put one on the inside. I'm also thinking of having an external plug fitted around here somewhere, so I can plug an extension cord into it and then just have a switch up inside the tent. But that's just an external caravan plug, so that's neither here nor there. I bought myself some more little containers so they can store my stuff in there with a lid. And I've also bought myself oh, there you go. It's a 15 amp line. It's an external one. And it's 12 meters, but it's got a 10 amp plug on it, so I can virtually plug into anything. I also bought that from Bunnings the other day too. So with my kitchen set up in here, my 2 boxes here, which will have my cooking equipment and my food in it, my kitchen equipment with my sponge and my bowl and my bits and pieces, and then the other stuff on the other side. That should be just about right. At this stage I can put the poles on top, but I'm thinking if I have that pipe put down here, just a 100mm pipe, 4-inch, depends on where you're from, with 2 end caps on it, bolted to the side, I can keep all my poles and everything in that, so that'll be great. So now I might just put the top back on and go from there. So what I'm thinking of doing is having my utility box at the back, just with my bowls, my plates, my cutlery and bits and pieces. This is the awning, so that will act as a buffer. My cooking utensils in the middle, my food and what have you will be at the front of the trailer. Then my 2 rear stabilising legs for the body. This is exactly 900mm long, so I don't know if that'll actually even fit into a pipe if I was to do one. So that along the top. My awning flaps in the middle. My kitchen seems to be the heaviest thing here, so I need to try to position that as much as I can over the middle axle. And my stove at the front. So this is how I think I'll set it up. In the very front, I'll have my gas bottle, which I've wrapped up in a towel just so it doesn't bump around. My little chili basket, my little esky, the feet, my stool, my hammer, you know, just those sorts of things. I've got a little cheap blue tarp underneath if I ever need it. My camp stove, my camp kitchen, which is the heaviest thing there, that's about 20 kilos in itself. And then on the other side, I'll have my food in here, my cooking equipment. I've decided not to use the cast iron fry pan because the lid of that Bendari oven acts as a fry pan, so I'm not going to worry about the cast iron at this stage. I still like to cook with it, but I'm trying to look at weight because of the weight of the stupid kitchen and bits and pieces. Then my bowls and utility stuff at the front, my bowls, my plates, my cups, my wash up stuff. This is the awning that goes out the side, the awning poles, my tent leads, and that's the two legs there. So they all fit in, everything fits in quite nicely. That's 900 mil, so I don't even know if I'd be able to get a pipe in there. But I think that'll be my configuration. With that, I also still have a bit of room. I'll throw my two pillows in here, a little thin bag of clothes if I need to, but I can carry those in my panniers. But at this stage, I'm thinking that's going to be my configuration. Again, once I get the top back on, I'll load it up, go for a ride and still see if I have that same sensation with it. But as a rule, everything's pretty snug. Now that carpet's in the bottom, nothing's going to move around. It's all pretty snug. It's balanced over the axle pretty well. It feels heavier actually without that tent. So that tent must balance that trailer out because the trailer's 75 kilo and the tent's 40. But it must balance out that total weight because whilst it's still light, it still weighs about 10 kilo on the ball at this stage. So, but that's going to be my configuration, I think. We'll try it from there. So I'll start to put the top on and I'll come back. Not super heavy, but definitely something you could probably do with two people. It's more awkward than heavy. So I've flipped it around the other side. And I'll get it roughly into position where I think and then try to line up these holes. So I'll eyeball it first and then I'll just drop a marker in there. Actually, it might even be easier just to drop the bolt straight in. So in the reverse manner, again with my nylon headed bolt, I'll just grip that with a pair of pliers. I should maybe be able to start it off with that. So I'm just getting that roughly into place. And now if these other holes line up, as easy as that one did, this will be fantastic. I've had to plug into a main power source now because my battery went flat while I was buggerising around. So if you can see the lead. And that, boys and girls, is how you learn to swear in many different languages. What I did is I connected the middle bolts first, and naturally the trailer is bolted in a different configuration. So I bolted the back ones on so there was it had the right overhang. The front and rear bolts are roughly in the right position to be positioned on the trailer. The middle one isn't. So I've bolted the back down, but the front hole's out of alignment now, so I'm going to have to re-drill the middle ones and the outside ones. Sorry, the middle ones and the front ones. So I'll do that and we'll start again, and we'll see if we can teach you many more words. I didn't realise I knew so many curse words in different languages, but there you go, it happens. Well, hasn't that been a joyous little event? Once I got the back ones in, it's easy to reset. I'm just using the existing holes. As I said, the front ones were out by 5 mil, the middle ones were out by about 1.5 centimetres. So all I've done is use them as the template and drilled through back into the trailer rail. So that's all good and honky-dory now. So this is the last bolt going on. So I'm just using another bolt to get it up into the rail because my fat fingers won't go up there. So I just put it loosely onto the end and then screw it in. Then the bolt just comes out. Gripping it with a pair of pliers just to lock it in. Oh, tighten the line up at the back. That's fantastic. So that's got all the 6 bolts put in there now. It went on relatively easy, so I don't have too many problems with it. I'm a little disappointed it took as long as it did. It's probably taken me 30 or 40 minutes to realign all the holes and bits and pieces. Mainly from my own stupidity, I measured the forward and the rear bolts, not the centre one, and I started with the centre one, so it's my fault. So for any future times I connect it, drop the rear bolts in first, then the other ones will be automatically in line. So that's okay. So I reckon with taking all the rest of the crap off the trailer and then undoing the top, I reckon it would take you 15 minutes. Which isn't bad. 15 minutes off, 15 minutes on. So now that's on, I'm going to put the stuff back inside and I'll see if I can find this tension line I want to do to ratchet the back down. As I said, when you do it yourself, you can, and it could be because I've got my sleeping bag in there, but that flattens out pretty much. It's just a little hard to get the outside cover on, by yourself. You can do it, it's just a lot of buggerising around. And I'm thinking if you can ratchet it down and keep it flat, then you can run it round. So the ratchet would sit here, sit at the other end, and you could just ratchet it down so it's still under the guard, still under the cover. It'd be all lovely. But I think that's what I'll do. And I've got one of these ratchets over here off my motorbike at the moment, and if that seems to work and do what it wants to do, I'll buy a designated one just for the trailer, because that's a 2.5 ton one and I don't really need that much. I can just get a lightweight one just to ratchet it down. Sorry, not a 2.5 ton one, a 1 ton one, 1,000 kilo, and I really don't need that heavy for this. So what I'll do is I'll put everything back in, and then we'll go and try the ratchet scenario. There are a couple of holes in the base somewhere that I can probably already clip it onto, so that'll be no issue. So, or it can even just clip under the track, it won't matter. And we'll try it from there. Okay. Fuck. I'm just putting the rain fly on this canopy. Now I've turned it round, I've turned the tent around so the awning wasn't over the tow bar. There's a Velcro strip that runs on the canopy, goes from one side to the other on the rain fly. I'm putting it on and I accidentally put it around the wrong way, so the Velcro was over the tow bar. And I thought, oh, that's stupid. If I do that, the awning will be over the tow bar. And then the penny is dropped. If I turned my canopy around, I didn't need to change where my stairs were. I didn't need to do any of that shit that I've just done. I've gone and turned the whole top around where all I had to do was take the rain fly off. It's always been that direction, so I've never even ever thought about it. Until I went to put it on, I accidentally put it on the wrong side. Fuck. So I've just wasted a couple of hours, shall we say, swapping that all around, where I could have probably done it in 3 or 4 minutes, just turning the canopy around, the rain fly around. Why we do these things. But in saying that, there is a upside to it. I got to put the carpet in it. I worked out how to position everything in it, so there is an upside to it. But oh my God, what was I thinking? I never even thought about taking the canopy off and turning around, not once. I've just always assumed I had to turn the whole bloody top around. So I'll continue with that. I might need to get myself a drink now, because I'm completely disgusted in what I've just done. But hey, it's a learning experience and it's given me time to talk to you guys. So I'll continue with this, still cursing myself, and I'll get back to you. So what I've done is just attached a loose strap over the top on the outside. I can get it to do up easy this side and easy the other side. It's just basically across the back. So by doing that, it's made the zip easy. And then when it just gets around the corner, I'll just take the strap off again. But that seems to have worked. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. But the amount of hassle that's caused, that may be the way. So I'm still shaking my head about that stupidity I've done. but still, it's done now, so what can you say? So we're all back, all buttoned up and tied down. It's kind of good that I did it because I had a video content for you guys this week, but oh my God, how stupid am I? Anyway, so that's it, all loaded and packed again, back into place. So I'll put it back in its position in the shed. I'm thinking that that trailer on the back, sorry, the tent on the back, on the top, actually I'm thinking the trailer on top actually counteracts the weight of the tow bar and stuff, so it's a lot lighter now. The tent's back on it, on the drawbar. So yeah, all things considered, it's done. If you like this sort of content and you like to learn from my mistakes, because boy did I make some today, you should be very well educated. Give us a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it before. I'm Michael and I like to do motorcycle related content, be it with my Harley, my Suzuki, my Honda CBR that I'm rebuilding, my camper trailer and camp cooking that we will be doing if I ever get the opportunity. The borders are closed again now to New South Wales, so it's just all over the place. Next week I'm supposed to fly to Cairns, so fingers crossed that's still happening. But until next time, bye for now.